Welcome to all the Capricorn rising signs of the zodiac to your June 2025 astrology. I'm Cosmic Girl. Trust you're doing well and thank you for being here. So, in this video, we're talking about astrology, talking about new moon, full moon, planets and transits, what natal houses these planets are transiting through, and what it all means for your rising sign as a Capricorn. June astrology on paper looks fantastic. There's a few challenging days, but ultimately the astrology is pretty good. We'll take it as above, so below. Okay, so before we get into it, let's just have a quick overview for you, what you can look forward to coming your way with all the astrology information for the Capricorn rising signs. Your chart ruler has only recently ingressed into Aries. That's in natal fourth house. So that's the house of sleep and rest. It's real estate, it's home, it's family, it's where we chill out. It's to do with parents, parenting, how we parent ourselves. And the chart rule is there before it goes into retrograde on July 13, 2025. And it's going to retrograde back in Aries in your fourth house. Then it's going to dip back into Pisces, your third house. So you have some changes going on as a Capricorn rising signs with your chart ruler Saturn dipping his toes into the fourth house and then going back into the third house. And that third house is siblings, travel, and education. So there's, you're not completely anchored in. You're sort of toying with the idea of where do I put down roots solidly, because the chart ruler Saturn is going to firmly plant into that fourth house of Aries in 2026 for a good 2 and a bit years. So it's quite some time. So between now and then, you're maybe in reconstructing mode. What do you need to wrap up with siblings, travel, and education before you can just chill out and settle into that fourth house of privacy? So a lot going on for Capricorn rising signs with their chart ruler Saturn. So for the whole month of June, that's where Saturn is in your fourth house. So when you think of your chart ruler being in the fourth house of privacy and rest, then you're primarily focused on your dwelling, where you go to seek out solace at the end of the day. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is the planetary ruler of Aries. And Mars is all about the action, like go, go, go. It wants to take control of its heart's desire and then just goes for it. So this is where it becomes a little bit nuanced for you with this transit of your chart ruler Saturn being in a Mars-ruled zodiac sign like Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, where it's brand new beginnings, launching into something new. So even though you're potentially trying to wrap things up in that third house to do with siblings, travel, and education, you're also engaged with trying to step into something new, begin something new within home and family and your sense of privacy and where you zen out at the end of the day. But Mars being the chart ruler of Aries, it could make you feel like, it's hard to chill out. It's hard to rest. It's hard to feel like I'm settled. So it can be a very nuanced transit for you. But for now, in the month of June, that's primarily where your chart ruler is planted, in that fourth house of Aries, where it's normally pretty zen, but Mars has different ideas. Construction, changes up of direction behind closed doors. Okay. We also have Jupiter ingressing into its zodiac sign of exaltation being Cancer. And for you, Jupiter's going into your natal seventh house this month for a year and change. That's going to be a really important transit for you as a Capricorn rising. At seventh house opposes your first house. You've got a new moon this month in that seventh house. You've got Mercury going into that seventh house. You've got the sun going into the seventh house. There's a seventh house party going on for you this month. And that seventh house, that natal seventh house for you as a Capricorn rising sign, that's focused on relationships and other people in your life. So the focus is on how you connect with others and how you have an exchange with people that you knock shoulders with. And that becomes really loud in the month of June. And we'll get there with all the astrology dates. But just opening up the video, giving you a lay of the land, your chart rulers in Aries in your fourth house. You're going to have a lot of action going on, interacting with other people in your life and dealing with significant relationships that you're engaged with in the month of June. And the standout of the month, when I look at the astrology of the month ahead of June 2025, I like the lunations. The lunations moving forward from June are the full moons and the new moons. Excuse me, I'm talking about at least until the 30th of June 2026 for a year and change. Those moon cycles, the new moons and the full moons, the closing squares, opening squares, they're all going to be flavored, if you will, by that exalted Jupiter in Cancer. So the moons themselves and the moon phases from June to the 30th of June 2026 are fabulous. Like really good. Jupiter, the planet of exaltation in Cancer, in the moon sign, bodes really well for lunar themes. That's the body, people, environments, our emotional landscapes. The moons are really quite auspicious. We'll take it. Okay, so keeping that in your back pocket, your chart ruler is still in Aries in your fourth house. We'll be here for the whole month. Now let's get into the astrology and the planets in transits. On the 6th of June, Venus ingresses into Taurus until July 4th. So just under 4 weeks, Venus is zooming through your fifth house. So with Venus in Taurus in the fifth house, what you can do here is experience a lot of slowdown, deliberate interactions with romantic partners, enjoying children if applicable to you, sex, pregnancy, artistic endeavors become really quite anchoring and pleasurable with Venus in domicile in Taurus in your fifth house. This bodes extremely well for you getting your adrenaline pumping. What makes your heart sing with joy and pleasure? Well, when Venus is in domicile in Taurus in your fifth house from the 6th of June to the 4th of July, it'll be really easy to distinguish what gets you going, what ticks your boxes, what fills your heart and soul. And Venus brings that pleasure in droves when she's in domicile in Taurus, where she's well positioned. So, an influx of sex drive, fertility subjects are ripe for conversating or embarking on pregnancy journeys. Sex, that topic of sex, wow, really good for healthy conversations and communication about sex, sex on the mind, intimacy, romance, dating. That's also the fifth house. And Venus is exalted here where she brings harmony with spicing up your life. Partners becoming a little bit more amorous and available to give you their time and shower you with pleasure. Beautiful transit from the 6th of June to July 4 with Venus in domicile in Taurus in your pleasure zone. Enjoy that, Capricorn rising signs. On the 8th of June, we have Mercury conjunct Jupiter. Keep your eyes and ears peeled on this day for a opportunity to change up your daily routine, something that's familiar to you. This could be a serendipitous moment where you're in the right place at the right time to capitalize on a work opportunity or a service that is of benefit to you. So eyes and ears peeled on the 8th of June when Mercury conjuncts Jupiter. And after Mercury conjuncts Jupiter, Mercury goes into that natal seventh house of Cancer. until the 26th of June. So, really quick transit for Mercury. And Mercury wants information and communication, seeks it, demands it. Give me the more intel, the better for Mercury. He is capable of digesting a lot of information, and that can be quite handy when Mercury is transiting in your natal seventh house of Cancer from the 8th of June to the 26th of June. And seeking out and researching information through other people and relationships in life to nut out confusion, get on top of any communication faux pas or problems or blockages. It's a beneficial transit with Mercury zooming through your natal seventh house of Cancer from the 8th of June to the 26th of June. If you want answers, this will be the transit to speak up. The relationships and other people in your life will be more than happy to talk it out with you. The 9th of June. This is a really interesting astrological day. There's a lot going on. Jupiter ingresses into Cancer, retrograde Pluto squares Venus, and Mercury shapes up in a square to your chart ruler Saturn and Neptune. Very busy astrological day. So the first thing that happens is Jupiter is going to ingress into your natal seventh house of Cancer until June 30, 2026. This is a really long transit, a year and change. Jupiter will be in your relationship house. Jupiter's exalted, positioned very well. So this bodes well for other people in your life and relationships in your life doing better and being accessible. I have done a separate video for the Capricorn rising signs about this Jupiter transit in Cancer. It's on my YouTube channel. I encourage you to go and listen to that. There's a lot more astrological information about this transit that I believe you'll benefit from for you to listen to at your own free will, of course. I'm not going to exhaust all of that information again here in this video, but we'll talk about it a little bit. But if you are an astrology enthusiast and you are interested in knowing what Jupiter exalted in Cancer is all about in your natal seventh house, then I've got you covered in that separate video for the Capricorn rising signs on my channel. Okay, when Jupiter is functioning really well, which it is in Cancer from June 9 to June 30, 2026, in your natal seventh house of connections and relationships, then you guessed it. It's those that you knock shoulders with intimately or of any nature are just available. They're there. And when you have when you're kicking goals with relationships in your life and people just seem to be opening doors for you with no problem, when you need to connect with people that can help you, they just seem to be there. It's very serendipitous and opportunistic when Jupiter's exalted in Cancer to connect with the right soul tribe with relationships of any nature. It is a wonderful transit. So go back and listen to that video. I encourage you to do that. It'll be worth your while. Okay. We also have on the 9th retrograde Pluto squaring off with Venus. This is really quite annoying. I mean, Venus is in domicile in Taurus in your fifth house of joy and pleasure, well positioned. I mean, you couldn't have a more content Venus. And then retrograde Pluto in Aquarius is grumpy with her. So what is this all about? Well, you could just have a problem with someone being overindulgent, extending their reach a little further than you feel comfortable with financially or with a shared resource. So you might have a difference of opinion on the 9th of June when it comes to can you afford the pleasure or people that share your resources. Maybe they need to rein it in and you have to have a difficult conversation on this day on the 9th. And we also have Mercury squaring off with your chart ruler Saturn and Neptune. Interesting. So this is about a relationship or someone in your partnership space of any nature, Capricorn rising signs, really not interested in coming to your home, going down rabbit holes regarding family or property issues. So this can be quite the day where you, for example, your girlfriend doesn't want to move in with you. Your boyfriend doesn't want to move in with you. A relationship in your life gives you an opportunity and they're like, well, you have to relocate from home. And you're like, oh my God, really? It's that sort of day where your relationships and your home life isn't coming together, and you're going to hear about it. There's going to be a bit of pushback. So you might be called to action on the 9th of June. On the 11th, we have our first lunation of the month, and it's a full moon in Sagittarius at 20 degrees. And this is interesting, Capricorn rising signs, because this is lighting up your second house. Jupiter's exalted in Cancer in your natal seventh house of others and relationships, well positioned, really well positioned. And Jupiter is the planetary ruler of the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. So the seventh house and the second house are, they're all caught up here in this lunation. So when you have a full moon, it's the maturation point of the moon cycle where it's ripe. Something is accomplished, and it's our feelings, our emotions, it's internal. We don't really trumpet to the world our feelings and emotions. Sometimes we do, but ultimately we're sitting in our feels at a full moon. So when you are navel gazing and really heightened emotionally on the 11th of June, what you could be experiencing here is something you find near and dear to your heart regarding a resource, something tangible, your livelihood. It's being impacted by a relationship or other people in your life that could feel like there's an encroachment of space or pressure to make a financial decision that affects your livelihood, your valuables, or things that you hold near and dear to you. So it can be a bit of a pressure point, emotional pressure point that you're experiencing on the 9th of June. Someone's really asking you to step up to the plate or give them an answer. And it can be quite difficult to emotionally communicate your thoughts on this day because it's factoring in an important relationship or someone in your life. Interesting lunation for you, Capricorn rising signs on the 11th of June. How are you going there, Capricorn rising signs? A lot going on, and we're only at the 13th of June. Yeah, astrology this month is absolutely crazy. Okay, from the 13th to the 16th of June, Uranus is squaring Mars. Challenging 3 days for all of us, including the Capricorn rising signs. When you're observing someone near and dear to your heart really going through a financial pinch, or experiencing a death, be it a physical death or a metaphorical death, or dealing with the topic of inheritance, it's going to be a day where you feel like you're nursing people and supporting people, and they may not be ready to hear some dense reality on this day. And that can be quite a 3 days where you are trying your very best to be a support for someone or something near and dear to your heart when there is a challenge financially or to do with death and inheritance. So expect these 3 days of the month to be particularly emotionally heightened. On the 17th, Mars ingresses into Virgo, into your 9th house until the 6th of August. So the 17th to the 6th of August, you have Mars cruising through your 9th house of expansion. This is world travel, foreigners, foreign places, higher education, your religious beliefs, spiritual paths. This house, the 9th house, is where we open up to the world through travel, learning, immersing ourselves in different philosophical paths and subjects. We open up in the 9th house. And when you've got Mars cruising through there in Virgo, then Mars that likes to take action, the ruler of that 4th house where your chart ruler is Saturn, this becomes a very interesting transit for you. If we think of Mars being the ruler of the 4th house where your chart ruler is, in the 9th house, really looking out of the window to the world at large, then this could be something of an interesting transit for you. If you take on an international opportunity, be it to learn, travel, or a pilgrimage, or a spiritual pursuit, then it's going to have a knock-on effect to your home environment and your sense of peace. So if you want to relocate, check out a new place to call home, Mars and Virgo in the ninth house will surely open some doors for you in showing you the way on how to accomplish a new residence or a new experience that gets you out of the home and into life. Really interesting transit for you coming up with Mars zooming through Virgo in your ninth house from the 17th of June to the 6th of August. The 21st, the Sun ingresses into your natal seventh house of Cancer to the 22nd of July. So for 4 weeks, the Sun is lighting up your natal seventh house of others and relationships. Beautiful. Sun in Cancer, natal seventh house, your relationships and other people in your life are focused. Someone that you hold near and dear to your heart could be taking on a leadership role, could be in a carer's role, looking after a parent, or a relationship in your life becomes apparent when the Sun is in that seventh house and you celebrate the arrival of a child. For some Capricorn rising signs out there, not all, but this is a real potential with the Sun in the seventh of others and relationships. When you have the Sun beaming and lighting up your natal seventh house for 4 weeks, start connecting, put yourself out there to knock shoulders with people that interest you, that have a common sense of direction and purpose. When you want to partner up with people, you got to do your research. You got to make some meetings happen. This would be the transit to do it if you want to unite and connect with movers and shakers in the world. When the Sun is in Cancer in your natal seventh house from the 21st of June to the 22nd of July. Happy hunting. Okay. On the 24th, the Sun conjuncts Jupiter. Jupiter's exalted in Cancer in your natal seventh house of relationships. The Sun is optimistic and is very available, if you will, to show you the way, who you can connect with, who's got the goods, where the good stuff is. This is fantastic for making a relationship official, fantastic for partnering up of any nature, feeling confident to hold hands, shake hands, put a ring on it, move confidently together in a new direction. So the 24th of June is the most optimistic day astrologically when the Sun conjuncts Jupiter, and Jupiter is now in its exaltation dignity in Cancer. You want to connect the astrological dots? If you're ready to pop the question to your loved one, this will be the day to do it. And this is also be the day where you are really emotionally at peace with celebrating a win to someone near and dear to your heart on the 24th when they give you the good news. The 25th, the next day, we have a new moon in Cancer at 4 degrees, and this is that natal seventh house again. So you've got a seventh house party, which we talked about anyway in the opening of the video. And so when you have a new beginning in your relationships house, you connect the astrological dots. You're either got the go ahead with a relationship, both parties are both happy to move forward confidently, or you celebrate a win with someone that's really important in your life. And then there's a brand new slate. Something takes off. It's an emotional new beginning, could be to do with relocation, a change with people in your relationship house, could be dynamics changing. It's a wonderful new moon in Cancer. The moon's in domicile in Cancer. Jupiter's exalted in Cancer. You get the picture. It's a new moon where everything's right for the taking when it comes to relationships and other people of any nature in your life to move in a positive direction. Beautiful on the 25th of June. On the 26th, Mercury leaves your natal seventh house of Cancer and ingresses into Leo into your eighth house until the 2nd of September. Mercury wants facts and figures and communication, needs to know the lay of the land. So when he's cruising through your eighth house of shared resources, inheritance and death, then what Mercury is seeking is intel, confirmation. So the eighth house is the more denser house in our natal charts that we all have to deal with regarding how our finances are impacted and intertwined with other people, death and inheritance. What do we need to change to bring in something new? So Mercury is seeking out financial opportunity, trying to give you the goods with communication about inheritance and how other people's resources are benefiting you, or potentially running a little too high for your liking. Great transit to get down to brass tacks, what's coming in and out of the checking account, especially when it comes to shared resources, death, and inheritance. So from the 26th of June to the 2nd of September, we're getting down to business here. What's the paperwork? What's the logistics? What's coming in and out? And how is shared resources impacting you, or how are your shared resources spending their hard-earned cash? And are you both on the same page? Interesting transit for you when Mercury is in Leo. The last 2 days of the month we have from the 29th to the 30th, that Mercury, curious Mercury in the 8th house of finance, is opposed to retrograde Pluto in your 2nd house of livelihood, assets, possessions, and things that you value. So, this is interesting. Well, we think of Mercury saying, I want to know details. So this could be you under the gun. You're in the spotlight here between the 29th and 30th, whether that's someone seeking out financial assistance from you, or shared resources are impacting you in some way, shape, or form, could have you a bit shaken up about your actual 3D possessions or your livelihood between the 29th and 30th of June. Can be some shake-ups or some very sobering, dense conversations that need to be had. And you could find yourself in a bit of a whirlwind in the last 2 days of June with being all up in the head, crunching numbers and verbalizing what you value versus what others do. So that's the astrology for the month of June. I trust you have a great one. If you have any questions, contact me at cosmicgirl101@protonmail.com. And yes, please go and listen to that video for the Capricorn rising signs of Jupiter transiting Cancer on my YouTube channel. You will benefit from it astrologically. Until next time, Capricorn rising signs, stay cosmic.